So today, working on a hydraulic pump and strip coupler for a John Deere 455A. Should be the same for 350, 350B, 450, 450B, C, even up to 550, I believe. Got the flange that bolts onto your crank. These come in 13 spline and 9 spline. All of this can be sourced from Broken Tractor. Pump from Bryant Conequip. That's your shaft. Again, 13 splines. And that's your coupler right there. So we're going to get into it. Make sure you have it blocked. You don't want this coming on you, as always. Never stick your finger somewhere you wouldn't stick your dick, because there's a lot of dick guys and they're never happy. Going to be pulling the right hand side cover off, grill guard, hydraulic hoses, pumps, and we're going to get into it, show you how it's done. If it's like mine, it's going to be 9/16 bolts on your panel up front and 3/4 in the rear, best gotten with a wrench. Alright, so we got the panel off, and the next thing we're going to do is take this little side plate off. I've already moved one 9/16 bolt up here. I'm going to remove another. You don't have to, but I promise you it makes it so much easier, and it takes like 45 seconds. Alright, so we got the little side plate or the bracket for the covers off. And if you look right there, there's 4 bolts on your crank hub. Now you can see the space I have in it there. What I did is I pulled the pump, the shaft, and everything and welded it just enough to get it by and get the arms up again, and maybe use it a little bit if I needed to, but this pump and stuff come in pretty quick, so that space is not supposed to be there whatsoever. You can see where it's been patched before in the past, not by me. Right there. Thank you, Tyler Gardner of Gardner Metalworks in Youngsville, North Carolina. He got that welded up for me. But we're gonna keep on working on this. So what's gonna happen is those 4 bolts are gonna come out here in a little bit after we pull the front bolts and hoses from the pump. But just kind of show y'all what's going on here. Up here to the front of the machine, I had this whole hard nose off the other week. Did the radiator, record it up there at Rocky Mount. It was supposed to be $1,200 and a 4-day turnaround. Ended up being $1,600 in a 3-week turnaround. So not really happy about that, but what do? You know what I mean? So we're going to pull this off. As you can see, one of the guys has dented it severely. So we'll probably lay it on the ground before we put it back on and just drive over it and flatten everything back out. But fixing to pull this off. Might need both hands, excuse me. So got the front grill guard off. Last year I almost took this finger off putting the grill guard back on my D6. So I learned, you know, never stick your finger in the holes when you're pulling something heavy down. This one's kind of light compared to it, but you know, I've made some improvements, stuff to grab on if I don't take my finger off again. I believe these are 3/4. I can't remember. We're going to find out. This hose has to come off, and this hose has to come off. Then we're going to pull those bolts right there. I have not found a drain for the hydraulics on this machine, so be prepared to lose fluid. Go ahead and grab you 2 buckets. Tractor Supply, Rural King, Napa, wherever you get it. We're fixing to start pulling this apart. If I remember correctly, when I patched this, I didn't pull it from here. I broke it loose here, but that's fixing to change because we're putting a new pump on. So I wish I could tell you what size these 2 are. Unfortunately, I don't know, but 2 BFAs usually get it. We're going to try to save what fluid we can. So I'm fixing to put this away real quick. So I just remembered when I took it off last time, all the fluid drained from this hose here. So we're just gonna make do with one of my shirts and just kind of, oh no, please don't fall, please don't fall, no, please don't go in. Just let it drain through the shirt. Try to keep the dirt out of it because I know there's some in it. And when it's done draining, I'll take a look at it and might just go back with new fluid because I don't like this at all. But yeah, there's that. Like I said, follow me, learn with my mistakes, learning as we go. While that's draining, I went ahead and broke this loose. I think I had to put the BFH on it. Shit, I hope I broke it loose. Maybe I did. Maybe I stripped it. Maybe I rounded it. We'll find out, won't we? But yeah, let's go ahead and find a way to break that loose before we pull the pump off. That way we got some leverage. So, I found out why it felt like it. Whacked loose, broke the adjustable. No big deal. We're gonna go ahead and pull these bolts out and those and pull that hose off, and I'll just have to get this off at the shop in a vise or something. These flanges here, they call them cat style flanges, as I've heard. These were a little bit of a pain in the butt to get to. Not so much the outside. The bottom required a ratchet socket. Top one and that one get with a bolt. That bottom one I could barely get with the wrench. Be honest with you, if I had a small 5/8 stubby, which honestly I might in the truck, but it would help a whole lot. We're going to check into that when we put it back together. All right, so got the flanges off. 3/4, that's the next step. We're going to pull those out. Wrench, ratchet, whatever you got, they'll work. If you don't know, sometimes it helps to put a wrench on it. If something's really tight, just tap it with a hammer. Just watch your radiator, okay? Just put your wrench on it, tap it with a hammer. That force will do a whole lot for you to break it loose. So we got the pump bolts out. So now we're going to come back over here to this side over here and pull those crank bolts out. And like I said, you know, this one's been welded and patched, so you can pull the crank separate. I mean the hydraulic pump separate from the shaft on the front side. You don't have to pull this crank assembly off, this crank spacer, if your shaft hasn't been welded. But look, I'm telling you guys, look, if it stripped the splines on one end, I'm willing to bet it did damage to the other end on the coupler or the shaft itself or the pump itself, which is my issue. It had been patched and so, you know, when it went, it was all gone. I lost everything. Matter of fact, while I was at this lot, pushing a 80-foot pine and a 60-foot sweet gum. I'll grab that one in a second. And I lost all hydraulics. Luckily, I had that big machine up in Lewisburg, old 25-ton Lee Bear with a 2-stroke Detroit in it. Called a low boy. Got that moved down here, took care of the trees. Got them away from the client's house. Because of that gap, we're just going to kind of take a little look at the threads on these, make sure I didn't screw anything up where I ran it. And I think we're good to go. So back to it we go. One more to go. So we have the crank bolts out, which means everything's free and clear. Like I said, if your shaft wasn't welded, you don't have to pull the crank bolt spacer. You can just pull this pump right out. Give it a little nudge. She's free to go. Let's see if we can get this out of here, huh? It might take me both hands. Hang on, fellas. There we go. Okay, back over here. So here's your hydraulic pump. Should be your part numbers over here. Like I said, I get most of my hard parts from Brian up there at Conoquip. Real good price. You can see where I had it welded and patched just enough to get me through. It looks like a roll pin is supposed to go there onto the shaft. That's the whole assembly right there. But when I look at the new ones I ordered, I don't see any hole in the shaft pump, and the splines on the shaft at all. And the holes there, I don't don't see any hole for a roll pin there. So we're not going to worry about it. I don't know, maybe it's something that the machine shop did when they made it. I don't know. Anywho, like I said, shaft, coupler, crank flange from Broken Tractor. I'll get y'all the part numbers. Pump from Brian at Conequip. I'll get y'all the part numbers. That's the heavy duty pump for your crawler loaders, bulldozers. And I think that's going to be it for the day. Because there's 2 clips that are supposed to go on here. And like I said, I believe in doing everything as right as I can. It looks like 2 clips that are supposed to go on here in these slots. And I have a hunch it's a backstop. So go like that. Go like that. Yep, keep it from sliding. So there we go. Crank flange, backstop with a C-clip probably, backstop with a C-clip for your coupler, and then, yep, pump's gonna go in. Like I said, you have 13 splines and you have 9 splines. You also have conversion shafts you can use if you need to go from a 9 to a 13 or a 13 to a 9. It all just depends on what you have. So count the splines on crank, count them on your shaft, count them in here, count everything. And yeah, okay, so we'll probably finish this up tomorrow. So here we are at the shop. That big hose is going to be a 1.5 inches. It was on there good, man. I busted my foot real doggone good. When I stood on that end and tried to kick the wrench with this end, busted me real good. So I think better all slide it up under there. Let's grab this off real quick. Oh man, that foot hurts, good golly. Need both hands for this one. Something I just noticed is there's a great big O-ring on this piece that came out of the pump. This one wasn't leaking, so I'm gonna go ahead and run it because I don't have any with me. And I really need this machine back together and moving. Like I said, I like to do things right, but look, it's not leaking, so I think I'll be good this time. All right, got the hose on. Ankle's still killing me. Fixing to head back to the job site. All my big wrenches are here at the shop. Something I do like to do is I keep rubber gloves in the truck like crazy. You're going to get nasty, greasy on old stuff, but they serve a dual purpose because anytime you got a open hydraulic system, you're exposing it to dirt. And in the fact, you know, that shortens the life of your hydraulic pumps, filters, everything like that. So I'll take these gloves and I'll throw them right over the hose. Works perfect. Keep a bag of zip ties with you. Back to the job site we go. So we went to put the pump on and the hose is the wrong orientation. When it's flipped around the way it's supposed to be, because my cat style flange is supposed to be on this side, the hose is at the bottom. And I don't need at the bottom. I need it looped up around this way. So we're going to tighten those bolts and see if we can get a little bit more out of it and make something work. So got the pump on. Not exactly happy with this orientation, but we can make it work. You know what I mean? That's about as good as it's going to get. As always, I don't care if it's brand new, used. Check your bolts. Make sure they're tight. You know what I mean? Something I do like to do. I like to put the date ordered, the price, who I got it from, the phone number, and the part number on every single part I put on. Hydraulic hoses, everything. It's a good way to keep track of stuff. Something I just noticed on these cat flanges, the mounting points, I think they're different than my original. Pretty sure. My original ones, I thought they mounted like this. These appear to mount like this. It's not going to make a difference, so send it. Easiest way to do these is to start one. Put your fitting up in there, swing it around, or swing it up, and start bolting in, draw it in a pretty good bit, kind of get close to the block. And then you'll take your second one and you'll put it right over that same flange right there. Be mindful, there is a O-ring in there. I keep these O-rings on hand. I keep a bunch of O-rings on hand. Because most times you never know when you're going to need one, and if you're in here you might as well change it. Unfortunately, I didn't have one big enough or thick enough for that, but that's okay. Hasn't leaked in the past, and hopefully it won't leak any time soon, I hope. So we're going to start on that top one and pull everything back together. So got the pump on, all the hoses hooked up. That actually went on surprisingly easily. I was very surprised. Still not happy with that. Oh well, can't do everything though. We'll slide that back before we put the grill guard in. This is what I had to stop and get yesterday. Some E-clips for your shaft. They are going to be 5/8 clips. What fits on there, kind of tight, but it's on there. I suppose that's what we want. Next, we're going to install the flange on the crank and the keyway spacer and the shaft. I might have to loosen up the 3/4 bolts on the pump and maybe slide it back out a little bit, because we got to get all this meshed together. So we're gonna find out. Well, I just learned something. When you put the crank flange on, you cannot physically put this in the shaft if the hydraulic pump's on. So like I said, learning as I go here. Save y'all the mistakes I'm making. So we're gonna reevaluate. Okay, so what we did is we took the collar and put it on the shaft, and then we could slide the shaft in and out like that. Turns out it fits absolutely perfect, but I think I just pulled it off the shaft pump. Nope, maybe. Son of a bitch. I think I did. No, I didn't. Still on there. Okay. Still on there. Okay. Oh, that's what it is. I don't have the crank flange bolted all the way in yet, so I can't see the line for the C-clip. That's okay. But, yep, so put the collar on there. Put the shaft on there. And fixing to bolt the crank flange up. As you can see, I always have a healthy fetish with a paint marker. Try to mark everything. Makes things easier. You can line your bolts up, flange, rotate it, however you need it. At least you have a ballpark idea how it needs to be. So back to it we go. So we got everything bolted up. Preliminary. Anyway, as you can see, I got the back C-clip just kind of stuck on there by hand. So I'll try to take a hammer and see if I can tap it on. Again, if y'all have a better way to do this, please let me know. Please let me know. That's not on there. Both hands, fellas. Both hands. So, as you can tell, I'm having some issues trying to get this C-clip on here. And that's the entire point of these videos, to find what works the easiest way to save you time, so you're not down in the field for 15 minutes trying to put on a C-clip so you can get back to work. I'll let y'all know when I figure it out. So after 3 C-clips, I think I finally got this thing seated. Pretty sure it's seated. Might give it a couple more taps just to make sure, because if that comes out, collar and the shaft will slide and that'll strip our gears out, and we don't want that because we're putting all this stuff on brand new. What I had to do was kind of orientate that C-clip up a little bit, and literally had to go in here like that and just tap it by hand straight in, because everything longer was putting it at an angle with this right here. So we got that in. I'm gonna put the wrench on these and just snug them up, and that'll be it. And it's just panels and hydraulic fluid. I'm not gonna reuse that hydraulic fluid. I just don't like the idea of it. I got an old dump truck that leaks like crazy in the hoist cylinder, and it leaks right out. So I'll run it in that, go to town, pick up some new fluid, probably 2 buckets. Should get everything back where it's supposed to be. Don't worry, It's going to smoke for just a little bit when you crank it back up. So that fluid gets down into that pump and it circulates. No big deal, but that's it. Everything's hooked up and good to go. So here we got the panel reinstalled after everything's buttoned up. Like I said, 9/16. That one's stripped threads internally, so make it work. 3/4, you want to make sure these are nice and tight because they will back out. And as you raise and lower your arms, it'll catch it at the bottom or the top. I'm going to go to town, grab some hydraulic fluid. I'm going to drive over that, flatten it, run it a little bit, check for leaks, make sure everything's good to go. Probably run to the farm, grab me a 5/8 stubby to grab that back bottom one because I'm just not happy with how tight it is. Anywho, that's it. That's the replacement on the hydraulic pump for John Deere 350, 450, and 550, I believe. Gentlemen, I appreciate it. I hope this helps you. Yeah, that's it, man. Let's keep this old iron alive.